You left the last video thinking the problem was exhaustion, that socializing somehow drained you more than it seemed to drain everyone else. But what if socializing was never the real problem? What if the exhaustion was only a symptom of something much older? Because for some people, the conversation does not end when they leave the room. The body stays alert, the mind keeps scanning, and even in complete silence, it feels impossible to fully relax. You tell yourself to stop overthinking, to let it go, to calm down. But then a text goes unanswered for a little too long. Someone's tone feels slightly different. A meeting suddenly appears on your calendar. Nothing has actually happened, yet your body reacts as if something has already happened. Here is what is actually happening. When unpredictability becomes normal for long enough, the brain adapts. If criticism, conflict, rejection, or emotional instability appeared without warning in the past, your nervous system learned an important lesson. Staying alert is safer than being relaxed. Over time, the brain becomes exceptionally good at detecting possible threats and increasingly poor at recognizing safety. It starts paying attention to every small change, a pause in someone's voice, a shift in their mood, a subtle change in behavior. Not because you are weak, not because you are broken, because your brain learned that missing those signals could come with consequences. The problem is not that your brain learned how to spot danger. The problem is that it never learned when it was finally allowed to stop looking for it. This is what people mean when they talk about survival mode. It is not a mindset. It is not a personality trait. It is a nervous system that has become far more practiced at preparing for danger than experiencing safety. And the difficult part is that this adaptation rarely stays contained to the situations that created it. It spreads. A delayed text message does not feel like a busy friend. It feels like rejection. A boss asking for a quick conversation does not feel neutral. It feels like bad news. A partner becoming unusually quiet does not feel temporary. It feels like something is about to go wrong. The brain stops waiting for evidence. It starts preparing for impact before impact arrives. And that constant preparation comes at a cost. Researchers use the term allostatic load to describe the cumulative burden of carrying stress for too long. Think of it as the wear and tear created by keeping the body's alarm systems running long after the emergency is over. Survival mode is expensive. Every scan for danger, every imagined scenario, every moment spent bracing for something that never happens. It all consumes energy. This is why you can spend an entire day doing almost nothing and still feel completely exhausted by the evening. You sit down and wonder why you are so tired when nothing particularly stressful happened. The answer is that your body never stopped preparing for something stressful to happen. You are tired because your nervous system has been running a marathon it never realized had ended. But the most deceptive part of survival mode is what happens next. Eventually, you stop recognizing it as survival mode. You start calling it your personality. You tell yourself you are just an overthinker, just highly observant, just independent, just a perfectionist. You take pride in always being prepared, always anticipating, always reading the room. But hypervigilance is not the same thing as awareness. Constant tension is not the same thing as strength. And being unable to relax is not the same thing as being responsible. When a high alert becomes your normal state, it stops feeling unusual. The constant scanning becomes invisible. The bracing becomes automatic. The survival strategy becomes your identity. Until one day, you can no longer tell the difference between who you are and what you adapted to. But they are not the same thing. Survival mode is not who you are. It is just where you have been stuck. And that raises an uncomfortable question. If you no longer had to monitor every situation, if you no longer expected something to go wrong, if your nervous system finally believed that safety was possible, who would you be underneath all of that? Because survival mode does not just shape your stress, it shapes your relationships, your decisions, your ambitions, the risks you take, and the version of yourself you believe is real. If you want to understand the hidden psychological patterns that quietly shape your behavior, subscribe to the channel. We explore the invisible adaptations people mistake for personality, so you can finally understand where they came from and what it takes to move beyond them.